to a guy who hosts a show in Pittsburgh. San Francisco did a little...
They made the hotline around.
Okay. And they showed some interest after Trey Lance and Jimmy. Well, Trey Lance got injured. Jimmy, after Jimmy left. And so that left Brock Purdy, Mr. Irrelevant, as the starting quarterback. And Roethlisberger said no. So there was an opportunity, if he wanted to get back. And so I just wanted to bring you up to date on kind of where we are. And then he was doing, and you can kind of set this up and take the ball from there, that he actually, because listen, he's a legendary Steeler. It's the only franchise he's ever played for. He's got a couple Super Bowls. He's been to the Pro Bowl a million times. And like you said, he's led the league in passing a couple years. So he's every bit of a Hall of Famer. And then you would think he'd be fairly content, especially since, well, you think he would just root for guys that play for the team, because he's going to be a Hall of Famer. And like we said, he's got 2 rings. Yet, I say all that to say that he's still hurt. He still wants the Steelers to suffer a little bit. There's no question in my mind he does. Based on what you're going to tell me and what we're going to hear.
Stevie's going to have to set this up, because where was this? Is this at some season ticket holding event or something like that?
No, so this is like every retired player now gets their own podcast. It's called Footballin', Ballin', but it's his podcast, and he actually had Kenny Pickett on the show with him and kind of described to him what happened through the season in terms of his progressions of his thoughts on would he support Pickett, and it started bad, but it turned out pretty well.
I mean, I'll be completely honest. Like, and I'll be super transparent here. I'm going to get blasted. I probably shouldn't say this, but I mean, who cares at this point? I wouldn't say that I wanted Kenny to necessarily fail, but like, you know, when someone comes to replace you, you're like, I still feel like I had it. Because I hope it doesn't come like ball out, because that's like that too, right? But honestly, I think as you started playing, and like I found myself rooting more and more for you.
I honestly really respect him throwing that out there publicly, because I think a lot of athletes probably feel that, and especially when you're the guy. Like, when you're the guy that is the face of a franchise and you've been that dude for a very long time, to feel that and to watch that slip away and technically be, taken away from you, I'm sure it's rough. So him throwing that out there publicly, I actually respect it, because I think there'd be a lot of former players that hop behind a microphone and give you the can, I was always rooting for you and all that type of stuff. He's saying, no, I didn't want that to happen right away. And I don't think, honestly, Big Ben is ever going to have to worry about his name getting lost in the sauce in Pittsburgh Steeler history. Like, whenever any discussion comes up about Steeler greats, especially at the quarterback position, his name is going to be at the forefront of a lot of those conversations. But I'm not one of those people that's going to dunk on him for saying that. I honestly respect him for being 100% honest with how he was feeling at the moment, because we've seen these things pop up. We just saw it a year or 2 ago with Tannehill and Malik Willis, where he came up publicly and said it's not my job to get him ready. And, that wasn't the best thing to say, but it's just honest. And I think when you're a competitor, you're wired that way. And I don't care if you're 22 or 38 in your career, you're never going to want anybody to take anything off your plate, because that fire and desire in your gut, I'm sure, is always going to burn until somebody or the league or your body tells you just can't do it. This, to me, isn't about Roethlisberger versus Pickett. Pickett just happened to be the guy. It could have been named ex-quarterback, whoever was going to be Steelers. I do believe that in any job, the human nature comes out. Ben should be very secure in his career, but it was a tough ending. And I've been there in my life in certain industries, and I've had that spot where you feel like you're a highly decorated person, that place wants to move on from you for whatever reason, and you feel like you and it's human nature not to just sit back and rely on all the great years you had, but the ending, because the ending seems personal, because the ending is. When people say, it isn't personal, well, it is, because it's happening to him. And I do believe there was bad blood there, and I believe the Steelers wanted to move on from him before he was ready to hang it up. And we've seen this happen with a lot of legendary quarterbacks. We've certainly seen it happen with Favre. They knew what they had with Aaron Rodgers. They knew. And Favre was kind of holding this thing hostage every year, and they didn't know what to do. And it's weird how history repeats itself.
Now, I would say Aaron Rodgers, I'm trying to think back on how much better I think Aaron Rodgers is now than Favre was when he left. And it's kind of similar to me because Favre had great success, certainly had success with my Vikes. We were, one play away from perhaps going to the Super Bowl in that 2010 year, that NFC title game where they lost to the Saints. But yeah, I do believe that instead of offering him a cheaper deal, I don't think it's wanted to really insult him, but they just wanted to move on from him. So, I mean, could they have offered him something that would be that he wouldn't have turned down? I don't know. I think they believed that they would have insulted him and that he took a deal worth about $5 million less than what he originally was lined up to make, and they evaluated him like you did. I mean, he had 30 touchdown passes in 2020. But if you watched his arm, you had to really see the tape to know. His mobility was almost nothing. And he was a guy that was always, he could hang in the pocket because he's so physical. He's tough to bring down. You could have guys on him and he'd still be able to make the throw. But in his final year with the Steelers, it wasn't horrible. I mean, 64.5%, 22 touchdowns, 10 picks. Now, Pro Football Focus gave him the lowest passing grade among anybody, and the Steelers made the playoffs. They were beaten by the Chiefs. Chiefs scored 42 on them, but
here's the thing, though, to your point here, because those numbers, they're fine. We know Big Ben, his ceiling was much better than that, but when you're talking, 39, no future. Right, there's nothing there. But to build off what you were saying, what I always thought made the Steelers offense terrifying to deal with growing up watching them and all that stuff was their ability to just beat you up physically with the run. But then when Big Ben was really getting busy, man, that over-the-top home run, right, with his cannon of an arm was just so terrifying because you had to respect the run, and they had all these amazing receivers. And you're talking the last 3 years of Big Ben's career, we're talking 5.7 yards per pass, 6.3 yards per pass, and 6.2. So it fell off a cliff very quickly with him, and defenses weren't respecting or didn't have to respect that big arm that Big Ben used to have, and it just made life difficult for the Steelers offense as a whole because you're talking his age 35 and 36 season, you're still almost at 8 yards a pass for Big Ben, and it just happened so quickly, and the offense was just bogged down those last two to 3 years where Big Ben was back there in the pocket.
Yeah, no, this isn't, I agree with you. There's part of it, you could tell he was almost going to edit himself. Should I really say it? Should I not? We're in a casual deal. I'm not looking for a job. I don't have to say something just to get a job. I don't have to money. I don't have to be politically correct here. I can tell you that when you came here, I was kind of wanting the Steelers to lie in a bed that they made. Now, he's in his own mind with that, right? Because everyone could see that they needed to start again. But it's tough to say goodbye to a legend and kick him out the door if he still wants to give it a shot. And so it's a business, right? One time, half of it's a business.
No doubt.
So you got to be willing to work for the money, and then you got to be the right guy for the job. And, they signed Trubisky and they drafted Pickett. Like, they needed a life after Big Ben.
Yes.
And a lot of these, the Packers are the interesting one because we feel like there's still a decent amount of life left in Aaron Rodgers. But what we don't know with Aaron Rodgers is whether he has a desire to keep going and pull a Brady here. It doesn't seem like he does. So the sooner we know that, the better. It's always tough because Rodgers, you can win a Super Bowl. The Packers are manager, right? We know that. With Ben, the black and gold Super Bowls were over with him. Like, that wasn't going to happen. No. With Rodgers, if you felt like if you did enough things and went all in, you might win another one. You could get one in Green Bay. But, yeah, I just think this is a guy who's being honest with himself at the time and kind of wished ill will in kind of a superficial way on the organization and the guy that replaced him because that would make him look better.
Yeah.
It'd be like in any other walk of life, right? When you leave here and go on to a big market, you're going to wish ill will on this show. Whoever replaces you takes over, you're going to say, I hope it sucks. Like, and even worse,
I'm going full hater.
I want it to just get booted off the air.
I'm going full player hater
and
when I leave.
So when you do the podcast with whomever, you're going to do the, listen, I don't know if I really should say this, but man, when I left the fan, I was hoping that midday thing really took a dive. So It's all human nature. Like,
It is,
now,
man.
if you feel like you've been wronged, and I don't think he was wronged. I think he was just 18 seasons, man. He won
time, right? Like, it was time. And CB, Kenny Pickett was in the room when he said that, correct?
Yeah, he was on the show with him.
Yes, which makes it right. He even said it to Kenny Pickett. Like, and I hope now, and I'm sure there's a big bro, little bro relationship, and Kenny can reach out to Ben for anything. But you brought up an interesting angle in the relationship of Big Ben and the franchise.
I think it's okay. I think he's said enough things. I think he's just he's talked about the Rooney family, Tull family, and Tomlin and Cowher and all the people that helped him get to where he is. And yeah, I mean, it's Steeler Nation, I think, is always going to think of him as an absolute gamer. Yep. And whatever grievances he has, I think, are kind of all dissolved. This is just kind of one last little line in the chapter of, I kind of wasn't ready. They wanted to move on from me. I was a legend there, highly decorated guy. I felt wronged, and you know what? The next guy, I hope you guys suck. Like, that's honest, and I think he's probably past it. One day he'll go back there and be honored and all of that. He'll go in as a Steeler. All right, we'll come back, and the odds on a pair of sweeps. Do we agree? Next, Ruffin and Ice in the Fan.
No hot takes, no dancing, plenty of stupid. Bishop and Friends.
Weekdays from 9 to noon.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
For the ones finding new ways to ensure the job always gets done. For the ones wearing many hats. For the ones who are hands-on, even from far away. And the ones keeping business moving forward. We are Grainger, offering professional-grade industrial supplies, plus real-time product availability and access to experts ready to answer your toughest questions. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along. Which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/post. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can find ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. At ZipRecruiter.com/post. That's ZipRecruiter.com/post. ZipRecruiter.com/post.
By texting 64,000, you would receive recurring automated marketing messages from Julie. Message and data rates may apply. No purchase required. T&C and privacy policy found at juliecare.co.
Have you had unprotected sex, then spent days, weeks, worrying whether you were pregnant? I never want that stress again. That's why there's Julie, the new morning after program. Is it an abortion pill? No, it stops the pregnancy before it can happen. Just take it within 72 hours. The sooner you take it, the better it works. It's FDA approved and completely safe. Where can I find Julie? Right on the shelf at any CVS or Walmart. You don't need a prescription, and there's no minimum age requirement. Buying Julie is as easy as buying a bottle of aspirin. It's good to have on hand, just in case. Peace of mind I can keep in my purse. Exactly. And now get $10 off your purchase of Julie when you text Julie to 64,000. Text Julie to 64,000 to get $10 off Julie. Text Julie to 64,000.
At Domino's, we're so obsessed with pizza, we'll try to turn pretty much anything into pizza. Sizzling pizza fajitas, pizza milkshake. Probably not the best pizza idea, but a great idea, Domino's new loaded tots. We bake our tots hot and crispy and load them up with melty cheese and delicious toppings, just like our pizza. From savory Philly cheesesteak to craveable cheddar bacon and mouth-watering melty brie cheese, Domino's new loaded tots are just like Domino's pizza, only on tots. Is someone on in here? Try Domino's new loaded tots next time you order.
What's the best part of a Dunkin' Coffee or the dollar donut? $2 stuffed bagel minis or $3 sausage, egg, and cheese you can add. Or the fact that you get to leave the office. The answer, of course, is yes. Time for a Dunkin' Run. Great deals on food for $1, $2, or $3 with a medium or larger coffee. America runs on Dunkin'. Exclude specialty donuts or fancy. Prices and exclusively vary. Limited time offer terms apply.
Introducing Dr. Pepper's new can cocktail. Harder and faster than distilled over real fruit and real flavor. With 2 full fruit shots in every can. Equally on Dr. Can cocktail. Find your new flavor. Dr. Shot. Dr. Shot Distilling Company, Milton Dublin. Please drink responsibly.
This is the sound of your engine getting clean. Because BP and Amoco gasolines with Invigorate clean heat from your engine as you drive, helping your car run better to take you farther. Here's the clean engine with BP and Amoco gasoline at a station near you. Engine performance from the harmful effects of the car based on minimum delivery fuel and requires continuous use.
It's Ram season, which means it's time to serve with Ram 1500, Ram 3500, and Ram TRX. Hurry in now for great deals on the trucks that are built to serve. Right now during Ram season, get 10% below MSRP on the purchase of a 2023 Ram 1500 Lariat. Not compatible with lease offers or with any other consumer incentive offers. Contact dealer for details. Take retail delivery by 5/31/23.
Insightful and thought-provoking sports conversation for your lunch hour. You're listening to Run Dice.
This Miami Heat team is crazy. They're crazy good. When Martin and Strus hitting, the Boston turnovers, now the crying, now the John with Smart and Butler. Smart may not even play in Game 4.
Jimmy Butler and Grant Williams going at
that was awesome. Forehead to forehead.
Fucking trash, man. That's what it's about. I'm here for it.
And when you go through the Miami Heat, Martin undrafted, Strus undrafted, Vincent undrafted, Duncan Robinson undrafted. Adebayo was the 14th pick, Tyler Hero was the 13th pick.
This is the ultimate underdog.
Bolster was homegrown through the organization.
Like, people always say, I want to root for the underdog. Like, this is the team. Like, if you're an underdog guy or gal, this is your squad right here.
Problem is the organization that it is have had so much success.
No, they have.
Yeah.
This specific
Absolutely.
team, you know what I'm saying?
No doubt.
For the people that enjoy that, this is who you need to be rocking with because of the list of names AR just laid out. It's incredible. But yes,
They're calling them the anti-super kids.
that's what they are.
No.
That's what they are. Now, they have stars and Bam and Jimmy Butler and Kyle Lowry's a champion and an established all-star, from his days back in Toronto. But, the 2 guys for them right there, for me, AR, have really jumped out and been impactful. Is Kyle Lowry in his role, right, coming off the bench. And you mentioned Duncan Robinson. That story's crazy. Duncan Robinson got a huge contract, and Tim Duncan and David Robinson met combined. And the dude was benched for a while, AR. It looked like the worst contract in the league, and Tyler Hero goes down to the dude that stayed ready. But yeah, they are the definition of that underdog, grimy, gritty team, and they just every year find themselves in the mix. And it's incredible that they do this, and it's credit to their head coach. He's one of the best, and Eric Spoelstra. There's just no denying it.
Yeah, this isn't the ratings blockbuster they wanted. They wanted Lakers Celtics. They're going to get the exact opposite. And so that's not what they're going to want. I don't care about that. It's not my business. I don't even care. Ratings are their problem. I want good stories. I want good teams. I want deserving champions. Now, you can make the case that when it all lines up right, when the good teams are the big branded ones, then that's cool, and we'll take that. But I'm a big believer in that I like good sports stories, and this is good. Nuggets have never been there. Here comes the Heat with this team that we just mentioned about the guys. Because you consider Gabe had 29, Duncan Robinson had 22, and Caleb Martin had 18. They were all undrafted. So of the 7 players to play 20-plus minutes last night for the Heat, 3 of them were drafted. 3, the guys you mentioned, Butler, Adebayo, and Kyle Lowry. And this team struggled this year. And by the way, nearly got bounced in the play-in. Like, it's one of those things that it does go to coaching. It does go to flipping the switch. And it was one of those things. Butler, I think he had 16. Hit Horford with the timeout after. I don't think we're in the business anymore of counting them out, especially even if they play Denver. Denver's amazing, and I love what they're up to. But I'll tell you, it's not unheard of to think this 8 could take out a 1.
You can't continue to doubt the Miami Heat.
Yeah.
You just can't do it anymore, regardless of how it looks on paper and the stars on the other side. They're just the definition of a team, and they've got a system down there that's worked. And legends like Pat Riley and Alonzo Mourning, running behind the scenes things, and you hear about how serious they are with players' diets and conditioning down there in Miami, and they're just one of the most respected franchises in the entire sport. I want to shine a light on something happening in Denver, and it's the guy AR that put this roster together, and it's a local guy in Calvin Booth. Calvin Booth from Central Ohio is the general manager of the Denver Nuggets. And I don't know if there's a lot of people that know that a guy from right here in our backyard has put together this amazing roster. Yes, you have Jokic, and yes, you have Jamal Murray, but you look at some of the guys he brought in this year that are helping them, whether it's Kentavious Caldwell-Pope or Brown, and these glue guys that have made their big three with Michael Porter Jr., Jamal, and Jokic so special. Wanted to shine a light on Calvin Booth and what he's been able to do. You brought him off, because when you think about Denver, you think about Jokic, and rightfully so. But the GM, a local guy, one of our own, really, I think, did his part in elevating Denver to where they are right now. So I just wanted to give Calvin Booth his flowers today.
You have to. I mean, that's unheard of when you think about it. Covered him when he played for Penn State, in the Big Ten time in the late 90s, and wound up getting into the league. And now what he's done, starting with New Orleans and moving on to the T-Wolves and then on to Denver, and then becoming this guy and maybe getting a ring, is remarkable. That is remarkable. You're right. It's one of those stories that has not been written about enough. Maybe will be here locally if he wins a title. Should be now, though. It was just down here. He'll run with this idea, because we need to be talking more about Calvin Booth, because their squad is coming out and they're the better team. TV, drop this guy a note. Drop him a note. Get into the Denver Nuggets DM and see if Calvin wants to come on his hometown radio.
I'll craft up a DM real quick.
Absolutely. Craft it up. No, you're right. His first year for him as the main one. Yeah, I don't. Maybe it is. I'm not 100% sure when he took over full time, but man, to get to this point, at this point in his career as a general manager, is going to have him set up to have a lot of success in the NBA, regardless of what happens in the league, because there's going to be head coaches that are going to want to, coach under you now when you put rosters together like this. And a guy like Jokic, I'm sure for him, will always go to bat as the star, because he's looking around and saying, my GM did a great job of putting some dudes around. Jokic, Murray, Porter, this group. They got a squad. They got a squad. Now, give you a quick odds before we take a break and come back to Schofield. You knew this series gets swirly, right? I think correct. Yeah, okay. So the odds to sweep before the series started for the Nuggets, odd to sweep the Lakers, 10-1. They're on the verge of that. And the Heat to sweep the Celtics. What was this? Before the series. You guys want to guess? Real fast? 25-1.
I was going to say 60-1.
Yeah. Right in the middle. Okay. 40-1. Yeah. And now we're on the verge. So whoever out there did it.
Well, I gave you and Jayla the option, I think it was either Thursday or Friday, to take it with the Nuggets at 5-1.
Yeah, but remember I said I was going to need 6, right? That was 9. That's right. Isn't that funny? Yeah. Now we're here. All right, we'll come back with Mark Schofield next. SB Nation, Ross and Nelson fans.
The only radio station still operating with an active postcard. I'm drunk right now. No, I'm not. Yes, I am. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Service Williams taking 35% off edible products at Super Next Day, May 19th through the 22nd. That means 35% off our most popular color family, blue. Psychologists have found it to be soothing and relaxing, which makes it especially great for bedrooms and bathrooms. And of course, get 35% off all of our other colors. Shop the sale online or visit your neighborhood Sherwin Williams store. Click the banner to learn more. Retail sales only post see store for details.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along. which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/post. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. At ZipRecruiter.com/post. That's ZipRecruiter.com/post. ZipRecruiter.com/post.
By 64,000 new British receivers from automated marketing messages from Julie. Message and data rates may apply. No purchase required. TNC and privacy policy found at juliecare.co.
Have you had unprotected sex, then spent days, weeks, worrying whether you were pregnant? I never want that stress again. That's why there's Julie, the new morning after pill brand. Is it an abortion pill? No. It stops a pregnancy before it can happen. Just take it within 72 hours. The sooner you take it, the better it works. It's FDA approved and completely safe. Where's that Julie? Right on the shelf at any CVS or Walmart. You don't need a prescription, and there's no minimum age requirement. Buying Julie is as easy as buying a bottle of aspirin. It's good to have on hand, just in case. Peace of mind I can keep in my purse. Exactly. And now get $10 off your purchase of Julie when you text Julie to 64,000. Text Julie to 64,000 to get $10 off Julie. Text Julie to 64,000.
At Domino's, we're so obsessed with pizza, we'll try to turn pretty much anything into pizza. Sizzling pizza fajitas, pizza milkshake. Probably not the best pizza idea, but a great idea. Domino's new loaded tots. We bake our tots hot and crispy and load them up with melty cheese and delicious toppings, just like our pizza. From savory Philly cheesesteak to fruitable cheddar bacon and mouthwatering melty three cheese, Domino's new loaded tots are just like Domino's pizza, only on tots. Can someone turn a fan on in here? Try Domino's new loaded tots next time you order.
Dunkin' Iced Radio, pick one.
Dunkin' Iced coffee is... Oops, sorry. One more time. Dunkin' Iced is... Ooh, Kelly, we're trying to record a timely summer-focused radio spot for Dunkin' Ice. Can you stop with the shaking?
Like, this is the sound the Dunkin' Ice makes. Maybe you can get it in?
Well, yeah. That's actually a pretty good idea. Try all the Dunkin' refreshers, iced coffees, cold brews, and lattes. Dunkin' Ice. America rocks. A Dunkin'.
Introducing Dr. Peck's new cane coffee. Culinary factors and distilled with the real fruit, the real flavor, with 2 full fruit shots in every can. Keep it real with Dogfish Can Cocktail. Find your new favorite Dogfish Can Cocktail at dogfish.co. Dogfish and Distilling Company, Milky Donuts. Please drink responsibly.
This is the sound of your engine getting clean. Because BP and Amoco gasolines with Invigorate clean deep in your engine as you drive, helping your car run better to take you farther. Fuel a cleaner engine with BP and Amoco gasolines with Invigorate at a station near you. Optimizes your engine's performance from the harmful effects of deposits caused by minimum detergent fuel. Requires continuous use. Results depend on what you drive and how you drive. Comparison makes the fuel for the same ethanol content.
Perfect afternoon parlay. Rockman and Ice.
All right, we've done our way too early NFL predictions since the post-draft. And we'll get the opinion of our friend Mark Schofield on that. Covers the NFL. And my boy covers F1 as well for SB Nation. He's on the Bryant Heating Cooling Systems Fangus Hotline. Mark, good to have you back.
It is great to be back, my friends. Excited to be here. Excited to talk some predictions and more as we get into the OTA part of the NFL calendar.
Yeah, no doubt. So let me ask you, outside of injuries, which nobody can predict, how big of a lock do you think the Eagles are to make the Super Bowl and win the NFC?
I don't know if I'd say they're a sure thing, but I think they're the clear favorite. I think you look at how they've constructed this roster, particularly on both sides of the football. I think when you look at basically this move to rebuild the Georgia Bulldogs defense in Philadelphia, I don't think it's a bad business model to take what has been a very good to elite college football defense that has helped them have the school win 2 straight national titles and just move them all to Philadelphia. I think that's smart business. I think when you look at the development and growth of Jalen Hurts over the past couple of years, you see him grow into a Super Bowl quarterback, an MVP level quarterback. And then when you take a look around the rest of the NFC, it's not the AFC. And so I think, yeah, they're the clear favorites to make a trip back. I mean, you've seen some Super Bowl hangovers for the teams that lose, but like you said, after injuries, things like that, I think they're the favorites going into this week.
Let's bring in our territory and talk a little AFC North ball. Mark, I want to hit you with this. Who do you think will be the most entertaining offense to watch this year in the AFC North?
Man, that's a really tough question because you look at what Baltimore has done this offseason. You bring in Odell, you add Zay Flowers. I think there's a potential for Lamar Jackson to have a tremendous season under Todd Monken. I think that passing game could be fun to watch. Certainly Cincinnati's offense has always been fun to watch. When you look at what they have in Joe Burrow, what they have for wide receiver positions, I think that's going to be another dynamic passing game to watch. And then, look, Cleveland, Deshaun Watson, year 2 in this system, haven't sort of figured it out, having, the opportunity to get into that playbook and learn the system. I think those 3 offenses are certainly going to be a lot of fun to watch. And even Pittsburgh, I mean, you look at, they add the Georgia tight end, and I think they have the potential to put out sort of a 12 personnel package with both Washington and Freiermuth in the game. That's going to be really tough for defenses to figure out. And so I'll give the nod to Baltimore here, but I think all 4 offenses are going to be fun to get to see.
Yeah, they will be. Hopefully, we'll see something here, the Deshaun and the payoff from the $230 million and what the Browns have to offer. And their defense getting a little better. Look what they've done with the pass rushing. They do host Cincinnati at home right out of the gate, and then they have to go to Pittsburgh on Monday night. So we're going to know real quickly whether Stefanski is behind the 8 ball or not, or whether all of a sudden the Browns have arrived. We're going to find out very early on in that. Do you feel like the Browns have the ability to win the division, or would you just say that they've got a shot at a wild card?
No, I think they have the ability to win the division. I think it starts with something you referenced there, which is that, we're still living in this era right now where the passing game is king, where offenses are king, where, as a defense you're hoping maybe you get a stop, maybe you get a short field, but, scoring in the passing game usually carry the day. But when you look at what can disrupt offenses, what can disrupt, as we've seen over the past couple of years, the Cincinnati Bengals, when they struggle to protect Joe Burrow, when you get after the quarterback the way that we think the Browns are going to be able to, that can be a difference maker to those NFL, even with offense-heavy, pass-heavy world we're living in. And so I think if that package comes together the way we hope it will, especially if you're a Browns fan, if that offense takes a step forward like we thought, as we just discussed a minute ago, Browns could certainly win this position. I mean, yes, on paper, the Bengals look to be extremely talented, the Baltimore Ravens look much better, but I don't think that Cleveland is just hoping for a wild card. I think it's a team that if things gel, can certainly contend in that division.
So we've got Bryce Young, the Carolina Panthers, as I mentioned, OTA is starting to get busy here. Bryce Young's going to be getting his feet wet down there with some of his new teammates. Parker, are you at all giving Carolina and a rookie quarterback a chance to win that division, or does your mind just go to Derek Carr and still what the Saints have in New Orleans?
I mean, I think the veteran presence of Carr might give New Orleans an edge, but I certainly will not count Carolina out. And the main reason for that is everything else that they've put around the quarterback position, I think, makes it far more likely that Bryce Young is going to have a successful rookie season and, a successful NFL career because of Frank Reich, who was in the room when they developed the ones in Philadelphia, because of Josh McCown and, the fact that he was basically coach / teammate of Sam Donald and helped Donald in his rookie season, Jim Caldwell, on down, Parks Frazier, all the wisdom and experience they put around the quarterback position. And I know it's RTAs and you're going to hear nice little reports from every team over the next couple of days, but, Andy Dalton himself came out today and said, there was something wrong in the script, and Bryce Young knew it right away.
I mean, yes, it's a nice little anecdote, but Bryce Young seems dialed in. He's a tremendous quarterback talent. They put so much around that quarterback position. Do I give the Saints the edge? Absolutely. But it would surprise me if the Panthers make this a contest between them and the Saints, and who knows, maybe Atlanta. I wouldn't rule that out. So I don't think that the Panthers are sort of going to just go back and see if they can. I think they could.
Speaking of that, would it be a hot take to say that Seattle would win the West over San Fran?
I don't think so. And the main reason is, and I've said this before, if you look at the full quarterback situation, Seattle might have the most stable one going into the season because, you know, Kyler Murray's coming off of a knee injury. Matthew Stafford is coming off the back injury, the spinal contusion. And in San Francisco, you got Brock Purdy, Trey Lance, both coming off of injuries. And yes, they've added Sam Darnold. So the Seahawks have the most stable quarterback room, and we all know quarterback the importance of the position in today's NFL. Now, I think the counter to that, if you're a San Francisco 49ers fan, is, you know what, it doesn't even matter, right? Because we've seen San Francisco have success with Jimmy Garoppolo, Trey Lance, Brock Purdy. With what they've got around the quarterback position, they're going to be good whoever gets the starting job. But I think when you look at the stability in Seattle, and the things they've added around the quarterback position, JSN gives them a fantastic three-receiver core with JSN, with Tyler Lockett, with DK Metcalf. So I don't think it's a hot take at all to say that, hey, you know, the Seahawks could win that division, and it starts with the stability of the quarterback play.
Let's take a trip over to the AFC East and get your thoughts on the Jets. Aaron Rodgers, obviously, their guy now. Mark, I'm one of the people that doesn't really see a Super Bowl offense right now. Like, I know their defense is absolutely going to be legit. Garrett Wilson's going to be a monster, but I don't love the Alan Lazards and Mecole Hardmans of the world offensively. Like, am I crazy for looking at the Jets and not offensively loving what they have on paper right now?
I don't think it's crazy, and here's why. You know, before the Rodgers thing really sort of picked up steam, I was basically saying, look, you know, they just need to add Derek Carr. You know, they just needed average quarterback play, and that was going to improve that team because this was a young, talented defense, a young offense that was getting dismal production at the quarterback position a year ago, and they just missed out on the playoffs. So they just needed to get to average. And I think that obviously Rodgers is better than average even at this point of his career, but there are still some questions around the rest of the quarterback position. But when you look at the defensive side of the ball and Braden Wanda-Gunnar who was drafted in the first round, I think that's going to be a very good to great defense. And they might just need NFL average play from Rodgers. So even if he isn't the Aaron Rodgers of old, even if he's taking some time to get on the same page with the receivers, some of whom will be new, some of whom he knows, even if that offense is just average, like you say, it could still be enough for the New York Jets this year.
Good stuff, Mark. As always, guy covers the league as well as anybody. We're happy to have you on. Mark Schofield, SB Nation. Thanks, bud. We'll talk again soon.
Sounds great, my friends. Always a blast. Have a great week.
You too. Mark was on the Bryant Heating Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. I mean, Seattle's done a lot of good things, man. Geno's the comeback player of the year, got the 3-year deal. The defensive unit's coming around. And now they got an offense, like he said, with Metcalf, Lockett, and JSN. We'll see. I mean, San Francisco, that defense is legit. But the other two don't worry about, I don't worry about Arizona and LA. So, yeah, not right now. Not right now. I'm with you on Seattle. I've been loving them, this whole all season. I just think they set themselves up for a bright future. Like, their last two drafts, especially last year, since we got to see a lot of those guys play on defense, whether it's Woolen or Bryant, these guys on the back end, and you found your 2 starting tackles as rookies last year in that draft. Like, their runway has really extended itself because of, I think, last year's draft, and now you add in JSN and some other guys. Yeah, I mean, how high is Geno's ceiling? I still think I'm curious what that really is. But, man, he brought to the table some really good things for the Seahawks. So, yeah, hey, I'm with you on Seattle. And they're one of those teams I'd be willing to sprinkle a little bit of something on them to come out of the NFC. Is we're picking teams that aren't Philly. That's a little sprinkle on Seattle. I'd be interested. What would you need, Mr. Sprinkles, on the NFC? To win the whole NFC? To win the NFC for Seattle, could I get, on 100 soft-earned dollars today, Matthew Ice, what would you like back? Can I get back 3G? Put it in my computer. Can I get back 3G? Can't do it, sir. No, can't give me that much. Can I cut it in half? 1,500? I can give you 2,500. Interesting. like them. I like them, Mayor. I'm a little worried about Gino, but I like their squad. I do. Boy, it's funny because they're way down as far as teams, I think, to people believe.
Yeah, I think it's because of Gino, right?
Yeah, like you attach them with Philly, San Fran, Dallas, Detroit. Ooh, Detroit has better odds, huh? Oh, yeah.
In Seattle.
Oh, yeah. They're like 9-1.
It shows some of the
Coverage for me with them. It just falls off, man, after the top two, and then it's just like an
Bro
NFC
just needs a
du jour,
complete
you know,
refresh.
to take. All right, we'll come back with the Buckeye Bulletin next. You may have been wondering, because we talked about it earlier, how Ohio State looks, how they're favored at some of their big games this year. We'll tell you next. Ross with a nice one, fan.
We are your radio home for the Buckeyes, Browns, and all the NFL games you can handle. We may have a bit of a football problem. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Business today looks nothing like it did yesterday. While it's more unpredictable, its possibilities are endless. At ADP, turning unpredictability into an advantage is what we do. Using data-driven insights, we design HR solutions to help businesses work better, smarter, so they can think beyond today and find even more success tomorrow. HR, time, talent, benefits, payroll. Always designing for today.
Ask Sherwin-Williams and get 35% off Emerald Products and Super Deck Days, May 19th through the 22nd. That means 35% off our most popular color family, blue. Psychologists have found it to be soothing and relaxing, which makes it especially great for bedrooms and bathrooms. And of course, get 35% off all of our other colors. Shop the sale online or visit your neighborhood Sherwin-Williams store. Click the banner to learn more. Retail sales only. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/post. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. At ZipRecruiter.com/post. That's ZipRecruiter.com/post. ZipRecruiter.com/post.
By 650,000, you will receive a phone call with a marketing message from Julie. Message database may apply numbers required.
Have you had unprotected sex, then spent days, weeks, worrying whether you were pregnant? I never want that stress again. That's why there's Julie, the new morning after pill brand. Is it an abortion pill? No, it stops the pregnancy before it can happen. Just take it within 72 hours. The sooner you take it, the better it works. It's FDA approved and completely safe. Where can I find Julie? Right on the shelf at any CVS or Walmart. You don't need a prescription, and there's no minimum age requirement. Buying Julie is as easy as buying a bottle of aspirin. It's good to have on hand, just in case. Peace of mind I can keep in my purse. Exactly. And now get $10 off your purchase of Julie when you text Julie to 64,000. Text Julie to 64,000 to get $10 off Julie. Text Julie to 64,000.
At Domino's, we're so obsessed with pizza, we'll try to turn pretty much anything into pizza. Sizzling pizza fajitas, pizza milkshake. Probably not the best pizza ideas, but a great idea, Domino's new loaded tots. We bake our tots hot and crispy and load them up with melty cheese and delicious toppings, just like our pizza. From savory Philly cheesesteak to craveable cheddar bacon and mouth-watering melty brie cheese, Domino's new loaded tots are just like Domino's pizza, only on tots. Can someone turn a fan on in here? Try Domino's new loaded tots next time you order.
What's the best part of a Dunkin' run? The coffee or the dollar donut? $2 stuffed bagel minis or $3 sausage, egg, and cheese you can add to that coffee. Or the fact that you get to leave the office. The answer, of course, is yes. Time for a Dunkin' run. Great deals on food for $1, $2, or $3 with a medium or larger coffee. America runs on Dunkin'. Excludes specialty donuts and fancies. Price and participation may vary.
Introducing Dogfish Head's new canned coffee. Culinary factors and distilled over real fruit, the real flavor. Two full shots. Every game. Keep it real with Dogfish Game Cocktail. Find your new favorite Dogfish Game Cocktail on dogfish.com. Dogfish has the Distillery Company, Milton Dog. Please drink responsibly.
Lockman and Ice present Buckeye Punches.
Sponsored by Logan AC and Heat Services. Don't go through another air conditioner breakdown. For fast, friendly service, call the experts at Logan Services now for a free estimate and next day air installation.
All right, Buckeye Bulletin time. And we talked about Ohio State, their big games this year. And we had some look-ahead lines to their games this year. And obviously the one everyone's intrigued about is, will they be in favor of Michigan? It's hard to know. I mean, nobody knows now, but on paper, they've got... That's actually better than I thought they would be. I'm actually a little surprised with the way everyone's hyping up Michigan. And the fact they'll be at home, having beaten Ohio State twice, you'd think that would have been at least, 2.5, 3, like something in that regard, you see at home in that game. You think it'd be worse. So that is on paper. They think that Ohio State is better than them. And there's a lot of people that think that, There's a lot of people that think that. So it's not even really just the momentum that Michigan has in the last 2 games of the rivalry. It's what they're going to be bringing back this season, with J.J. McCarthy and Corm and a lot of other guys that we saw getting busy for Harbaugh and company. So, I am surprised at that look-ahead line because, when you look at the uncertainty around Ohio State, especially at the quarterback position and some offensive line spots and all that, if you would have told me right now Eric was 3 or 3.5, I wouldn't have flinched at that, maybe even a little bit more. So, we talked to Joshua Terra, we talked to Doug Maurice today, and both those guys are 2 guys I'm just thinking about that are pretty high on what Michigan is going to be. And it's not just them. It's a lot of other people that cover the sport.